Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. We are back together here with another video, and we're going to be talking about one of my favorite movies, 1984 Karate Kid. I actually saw that movie in the movie theater.
Really?
Yeah, I went to the movie theater. I believe it was me and my brother and my cousin, and I remember the crane kick, and that was just so iconic. I absolutely love that movie. But you want to know something?
What?
Not one time did I actually think that the movie was too white, as in it had too many white people. I mean, it had Mr. Miyagi in the movie. Now, what is Mr. Miyagi?
It's Japanese.
Yeah, he's
American.
Yeah, from Okinawa. He's from Okinawa, played by the late Pat Morita in the movie. But you know what? Movie came out in 1984. We're living in modern times here where you're starting to see things like Oscars so white, diversity, equity, inclusion, that crazy stuff that Hollywood is actually trying to put out there. When I saw this the other day, the Karate Kid was too white. I'm thinking, did you guys even watch the movie?
Well, I did.
Yeah. I mean, it does tell the story of a white guy. Ralph Macchio is 60 years old, by the way. Dude does not look 60.
No, I thought he's 40.
He looks
50.
like he's in his 40s still.
Yeah.
I mean, Billy Zabka, who actually plays Johnny Lawrence, is like 56. He's like 4 years younger, and he looks older than Ralph Macchio.
Yeah.
Go figure. But anyway, but apparently Ralph Macchio now is coming out, and he's hitting back on the criticism that the movie was too white.
Well, they said that it didn't dive into the Asian story.
It did. They tell you Mr. Miyagi's story. He comes from Okinawa. He's actually in World War II. He wins the Medal of Honor. They have that great scene when he's actually drunk.
Yeah,
and
but not
he's
in
mourning
the,
his wife.
Not Karate Kid Part 1, but Part 2.
Part 2 is really his backstory. But we're
Yeah.
talking about the first movie here. The first movie, you learn a lot about Mr. Miyagi. You learn even more, though, in the second movie because they go to Okinawa.
No, the first movie, well, when I first saw the movie, Part 1, I thought like, okay, there's the Japanese guy, and I really never thought it was true. I just thought
I
that...
never focused on the race of anybody in the movie.
Well, I just thought that, well, maybe, the, what's his name? Daniel.
Yeah.
Daniel, he was like beating up,
He was getting beat up. He's being bullied.
And then like he happens to meet, Mr. Miyagi, and like Mr. Miyagi, stand up for him,
Yeah.
and teach him karate.
Yeah.
And so I thought the movie was like the Japanese guy is teaching him how to fight back. That's all.
You know what I kind of thought Karate Kid was? It was like a more, how can I say it? It was like Star Wars, but in the real world, because Mr. Miyagi was Yoda. He was the Jedi Master who was giving the advice.
Yeah.
And really, Daniel was more like Anakin Skywalker. He was a hothead. He still is a hothead if you actually watch Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
So it's not too white, but let me read a little bit of this here. Ralph Macchio is taking a crane kick to criticisms that the Karate Kid was too white. Quote, people have said it's a very white cast, that it didn't dive into the Asian story, Macchio said in this week's issue of Stellar magazine. The 60-year-old, I cannot believe this guy's 60, said the 1984 classic, where he starred alongside Noriyuki Pat Morita as the new kid in town, bullied by his school's crew of karate menaces, was actually progressive in its approach to the Asian American experience. Quote, and all these pop-ups on New York Post, quote, people have said it's a very white cast, that it didn't dive into the Asian story. But I always said The film was ahead of its time because it was a popcorn movie that talked about Japanese internment camps during World War II. Pat always said the scene in which is revealed Mr. Miyagi lost his wife and child in the camps earned him his Oscar nomination. Macchio said, adding, the scene where Marita's character was inebriated was poignant to the Japanese-American actor. Quote, Pat himself spent 2 years in the camps, so it had double meaning and some depth. Now, here's the thing. My generation really knew Pat Morita as Mr. Miyagi, but a little bit older generation, Pat Morita was actually a comedian. Mm-hmm. So when people actually hear, that was a fake accent that he had in the movie. Mm-hmm. Pat Morita from America, and he was known for Arnold in Happy Days. And he was a comedian, and they were telling Pat Morita, no, you don't want to do this role because it wasn't a comedic role. So people were pretty shocked when
I didn't watch that.
Yeah, Happy Days is a very, very famous TV show. But to me, Pat Morita is mostly known for Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah, I find him,
yeah,
through watching the Karate Kid.
Yeah, and then in Karate Kid, he was still funny. There was funny lines.
Yeah.
You remember when they were at the tournament? And
the belt.
The belt. He steals the man's belt. They had comedic elements because Pat Morita's a comedian. But Allie's trying to get on the floor with Daniel, and Daniel's like, "Oh, he doesn't speak English. That's my translator." And he's speaking Japanese, and she's like translating, and she doesn't know what she's saying. And then the guy says, "Oh, it's okay, thank you." And Mr. Miyagi says, "Welcome." And the guy like looks around like he does speak English. It was so funny. I love that scene. I love that scene. But the criticism of this movie being too white, it's ridiculous. And by the way,
I guess
you want to know, especially at the time, the United States is like 70% white. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 70% white.
No, I guess is it because like it's that the movie that talk about Japanese internment camp during World War II. It's just, the history of the Japanese American who was born here at Pearl Harbor, and like they were in the camp, Japanese.
You know what I would like to see? Since we have Cobra Kai now, I would love to see a young Miyagi spinoff TV show on Netflix.
Yeah.
With him and, going to Sato and what's his girl? Yukie. Have that and show how he left, and they could talk about maybe his experience in the war. I would like to see that. I think that would be very, very interesting right there. But kind of got off track right there.
Yes. But what I'm saying is like, is that maybe because of, like the history of the Japanese American?
No. What it is,
it might have a different feel.
No. What it is, it's these woke people today that didn't see this movie back in the 80s. They're triggered by anything that has white people in it. Majority white cast, they are triggered by that.
When I first read this, I kind of like remind me of like, that we saw that movie, with Bruce Lee on it. At first, he came to America, and then like he got into the entertainment industry.
Yep.
And then he was about to like be a role, like a casting role.
Yeah, you're talking about Kung Fu. He made Kung Fu, but
no, but the white guy like decided to use somebody else.
Yeah, they used somebody else because that was back in the early 1970s.
Yeah, but it was his idea.
But imagine this. Imagine if Bruce Lee didn't die because he made Enter the Dragon. Then he died. He was a superstar in Hong Kong. An absolute superstar in Hong Kong. And then American studios, Warner Brothers, saw how big he was over there in Hong Kong, and they wanted to make Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee. And he did. Bruce Lee is one of my favorite actors of all time.
Yeah, he is too.
And
it's mine too.
And when Enter the Dragon was shown here in the United States, it was a massive hit. And what did Hollywood do? They wanted to actually finish the game of death because Bruce Lee died. They got an Asian guy to kind of look like him and they had cardboard cutouts. They were capitalizing on the Bruce Lee craze. because Bruce Lee was a megastar here in the U.S. and he had died. So it could have been quite different, but Bruce Lee was really like the first. He transformed the modern action star. I mean, because the way he looked, he was ripped. His body was ripped. I mean, he had that
his,
approach.
Fighting style is like he put every fighting style into one.
Yeah, Jeet Kune Do. Yeah. The way of the intercepted fist. He was a megastar. And if he had lived, I believe he would have been on a whole nother level right there. But think of this. People were still watching his movies. He was Bruce Lee's 1/3 German. But he's from Hong Kong, Asian actor. Nobody cared that he was Asian. Bruce Lee was great because
in the past, yes.
Well, I'm talking about once they saw
that the master doesn't want to teach him kung fu.
Yeah, but once people saw Bruce Lee's movies here, they were captivated. They were captivated because Enter Dragon was that was an American-made movie. That was his first big American-made movie. Remember, he also had the Green Hornet. They called it the Kato Show in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And it was massive. I saw the Green Hornet. I didn't watch the Green Hornet for the Green Hornet. It was always Kato bailing him out because Bruce Lee was just that great. So we kind of got way, way off topic right there again. But they do dive into Miyagi a lot in this movie.
Yeah.
You learn a lot. I mean, they're basically co-stars. I know. You know what? There's been 4.
Karate Part 2 has more about Miyagi.
Yes, it's much more. But the thing is, Mr. Miyagi was actually in more Karate Kid movies than Ralph Macchio. There's been 4 Karate Kid movies. Ralph Macchio was not in the 4th one.
Yeah.
And that's actually the one with Julie Pierce. I'm willing to bet that Julie Pierce is probably going to show up in that season of Cobra Kai whenever they come out with it. But this is utterly ridiculous right here. And Ralph Macchio, right on the money. I mean, it's these modern day woke people that run with the race narrative. It needs to stop. It needs to stop.
Well, when I first saw it, I didn't think it's too white.
No, it actually reflected, the demographics of the country. I mean, you had Latino people in there in the movie. You did have a black guy in the movie too. But the main story really was Daniel LaRusso and Mr. Miyagi. They were the 2 stars. Your villain was Johnny, and he was white.
Well, I don't think it's too white because, if it was too white, at least like Daniel, at least like, he went to Japanese in Part 2 with Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah. Part two had a whole bunch of Okinawans and Japanese in the movie.
And at least he was like respecting the culture.
Yes, he learned that. And then
he's not mocking the culture.
They tied that into Cobra Kai too.
Yeah.
Because Daniel talked about going to Okinawa and he learned like how to chop sushi and all this stuff. He like really, really got into the culture. He never spoke Japanese though. One thing I wish they would have did though. I wish they would have brought back Kumiko as his wife for Cobra Kai. I thought that would have been good.
They were not married in Part 2.
No, that was like his love interest. But remember, they said that she wanted to be a dancer, so she went to Tokyo and they wrote her out of Part 3. So it didn't happen.
But then, like, I was kind of upset that he got married.
Of course he was going to get married.
No, I thought, like, he will be waiting for Kumiko,
In Part 3?
No.
Or Cobra Kai?
No, in Cobra Kai.
30 years later?
Well, I thought...
Oh, no. No, I don't think so.
But then it surprised me on Cobra Kai is that... what's his name? The Asian guy. It was Daniel and
Chosen.
Yeah, Chosen.
Oh, Chosen was so great in this last season.
Yeah, I like
Uji
him.
is a very good.
No, but I never thought Chosen like Kumiko. I just never thought of that.
Me neither. So that was kind of surprising in the last season of
Yeah.
of Cobra Kai.
But then on the other side, they were like childhood, you know.
They knew each other since they were kids.
Yeah, so, but I never thought, you know, because in part 2, he was so mean.
Yeah, he was so mean. And when they brought him back in a season, what was that, season 3? I think it was season 3. Yeah. No. Season 4. Because this was the 5th season, right? I lost track of the seasons. But
yeah, but it was
anyway.
good.
Yeah, because your favorite movie is actually Karate Kid 2.
Yeah, part 2.
She likes part 2 a lot. And I do too. I do too. I really like part 2 a lot. But what do you guys think of this? What do you guys make of these Waltsters claiming that the Karate Kid was too white? When you have an Asian guy, they were co-stars in the movie. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's ridiculous. 1984, when I was in the movie theater, I just loved the movie.
Yeah,
I didn't care Ralph Macchio was white. I didn't care that Pat Morita was Asian. It didn't matter. It was a great story.
It's really, for me, it's really about that, teaching like what karate is really about.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because like there was like what's his name? The Cobra. He was teaching the student the wrong stuff.
Yeah, John Kreese.
Yeah, John Kreese.
I love his backstory in the Cobra
Even
Kai.
in Cobra Kai, he's like the bad guy.
Yeah. That's going to wrap it up, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Like and subscribe on the video. Follow us on the channel here. And check out blackandwhitenetwork.com. Grab a membership if you would like. Just starts at $5 per month. That really would help support us. But that being said, we will catch you guys on the next video.
Goodbye.